Asian Carter. Today I'll be doing a buddy fight video for you guys. So I actually went to the demo for buddy fight at my locals. It was on the same day as the sneak peek, so this video is actually a bit late. But in this video I'll be explaining how buddy fight actually works and what you get in the flash trial decks. So yeah, so first off, we got this little booklet with the decks, which includes like a mini comic and kind of the rules as well. It's basically the rule book, it says right here. Buddy Fight Rulebook version 1.0, and on the back it's just some more advertising for their websites and everything. So set that aside and let's go ahead and move on to the Flash Trial deck. So for the Flash Trial deck we get basically 2 of each card. So if I can focus for you guys, we get 2 Gigant Sword Dragons, 2 Extreme Sword Dragons, 2 Steel Gauntlet Dragons, 2,000 Rapier Dragons, 2 Bear Trap Fang Dragons, 2 of the Systematic Dagger Dragon, they love to say dragon, 2 of the Latel Shield Dragon, and for our spells, we get Dragonic Heal, 1 of that, and 2 of Dragon Breath, as well as 1 Dragonic Shoot, and 2 Green Dragon Shields. And also for item cards, we get 2 Dragon Blade Drago Fearless, 2 Dragon Blade Drago Brave, and for impact cards we get 2 Reckless Anger and our flag. Alright, so allow me to explain how this works. So basically there's 3 types of, well, first off there's your flag, which will always be here to signify which kind of world you're playing for your deck. And then there's 3 types of cards. There's basically your monsters, your spells, actually 4 types. Monsters, spells, items, and your impacts. So basically over here it tells you all the how to like your turn's supposed to go. So basically what happens is this number right here above your monster is the requirement. So like you can only have a total of up to 3 on your field at once. So if you have a 3, you can't really play anything else. Or if you have a 2, you can play another 1, or you could just have 3 ones out. So your total should be equal to 3, no more. And to replace your cards, basically say you have a 2 out here. Once you play your 3, your 2 will get retired as it will meet the maximum limit. So whatever pre-existing cards were there would then be retired to support the requirement of having only 3 total. And if you guys can see here, the blue is defense, the red is attack, and the white number in between is the amount of damage it deals to your opponent, which is replicated here on your damage counters, which you start off with 10, and in this game you can actually gain more counters, but you can also lose it. So basically, that's how the cards work. Some of them will have a cost, such as it says call cost, you have to pay 3 gauge. As you can see, gauge is over here, which I'll be explaining in a bit. And there's a thing called link attacks, where since some cards have great defense and others have really low attack, say this one has 8,000 and this one has 5,000 attack, you can link these 2 as long as they're on your field. Well, not these 2 since they wouldn't match, but like these 2 become 10. So basically you would link attack with these, so both of them will attack together against this guy to get rid of him. So that's what a link attack is. I believe you can actually have 3 as well. If you all 3 was this, I don't even know what the number cost is supposed to be called, but if you have 3 ones, you can basically link attack all 3 together. Also, so basically that's kind of it. It's like Vanguard, where your units will be on the upright position, and after they attack they go to the rested position. So yeah, and as you can see, this will tell you which world they're from. And that's basically it for the monsters. So you get like 2 of each monster in the whole deck. For spells, you can activate them during your main phase, which is where you can play as many number of monsters you can, equip items, and you can also play any number of spells. So basically, a Dragonic Heal, this will gain 2 lives. Dragon Breath, you have to pay 1 gauge, and then destroy a monster with 4,000 or less power, which is very good. Dragonic Shoot, which is basically the same, but you don't have to pay a cost, and it's 3,000 or less. Green Dragon Shield is a counter spell, which will be activated once this requirement is met, where it's your opponent's attacking in your center. Dragon Blade, Drago Brave, you have to discard a card and pay a gauge to activate and equip it. And for the Dragon Blade, you just equip it. And for Impact, you can only activate these during your final phase, which is after your attack phase. So you have to pay 4 costs for this one, and you may cast it if your opponent has 4 life or less, and stand with your weapons and attack with it again, and that can't be guarded. So basically, it could end games with that card alone at the end, if you have equipped. So what you do for the game is, you have your flag card down, and you choose one of your cards as a buddy. So for instance, say you choose this card, and then you would set it down. And then what you're supposed to do is, since this is just going to be a really quick demonstration, you're supposed to shuffle your cards, as always with every card game. Set it in your deck zone, and then draw 5 cards. And here's the thing, basically, after you draw your 5, you put the top 2 cards of your deck into your gauge face down without looking at it. And then basically the player who goes first cannot draw, but you can do something which is called a gauge and draw, where you put one of the cards in your hand into your gauge and then you draw a card. So for instance, we could put this down and then draw. However, if you're going second, you can go ahead and draw, and then you can also gauge and draw as well. So here, basically, you would flip your cards so your opponent knows what you have, and basically you can call out any cards you want. So for instance, you could call this to the right or the left, so you only get 3 zones for monsters. And for your buddy, you can only call this out when you have a copy of it in your hand as well, so I guess you have to reveal it to your opponent. That was not really too clear, but basically you just have to reveal it, and then you can call your buddy out to any zone that's open. And also, once your buddy is called, you gain 1 life. So the purpose of the game is to bring your opponent down to 0 life, of course. And it's actually pretty quick, since as you can see, the cards have like 2, 4, 3, 2 criticals and stuff like that. So it could be really quick to bring your opponent down. And also, for instance, say you have this on your field, to call this guy, since he's requires 3, you would call him, and use because of his call cost, you have to send your 3 gauge, and then you have to retire this because you've maxed out with that 3. And if cards are in the center, your opponent can attack you until they get rid of that card. So it's basically a strategy where if you want to keep it to the left or right or in the center, if you have left or right, once you, let's see if I can draw. Let me find an equip card. So like for this equip card, the Dragon Blade, basically each turn you can always gauge and draw after you draw, so you just gauge and draw. So gauge is actually pretty important in this game. So to activate one of these equips, for this one you would have to pay 1 gauge and discard a card. Basically with this, as long as your center field is open, you can attack with equipped. So basically your flag is essentially you as a player. So basically, if you have a monster in your center, your equipped item cannot attack at all. However, if your center is open, you can attack. And for monsters in your right and left, your opponent can still attack those, so they're not safe. But basically, most often they will probably go for the center to get rid of that, so they can deal more damage to you. And it's based on like if you planning. So if you have your monster center open, you can attack with some pretty big equip cards such as this, which does 3 damage. But oftentimes it would also be beneficial to have a card in the center to protect you, so your opponent has to get rid of that first. So yeah, and that's basically Buddy Fight in a nutshell. For like cards such as the impact card and stuff, you just have to meet their requirements, and each turn you can also, as I said, you can gauge and draw. So after you draw, you gauge and draw. That's basically it. So this game should actually last like maybe 10 minutes for a whole match of best 2 out of 3 against someone, which that's kind of the average, because it's a pretty quick game. So yeah, seems pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm going to keep this up. I just picked this up since it was a free demo gift thing. So if you went to the demonstration, they gave you half of the deck and you get to keep it. And for this, at the event, they also gave out this Drum Bunker Dragon promo, which unfortunately you can't use this in a game. I believe it says it somewhere. Or yeah, right there in the little white fine print. But pretty cool promo nonetheless. And if you did not know, Buddy Fight has textured back, so that's pretty cool as well. And thanks for watching, and if you guys want to see more Buddy Fight videos, leave in the comments. I don't know if I'm going to continue this game. It seems kind of interesting, but I'm already Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard, so that's going to cost me quite a lot of money. Also kind of thinking about White Shorts and 5 Cross. Of course, 5 Cross is Japanese only so far, but still interesting. But otherwise, if you guys are interested in this game, I'd recommend you to try it out and test it out. It's a pretty quick game, and yeah, thanks for watching, and Asian Card out.